All right, for today's daily BotBots review, I've got one that I've really been vibing with from Series 4. This is Dr. Flaskenstein. Dr. Flaskenstein is from the Science Alliance, which was a new team that they added in Series 4 that has a lot of scientific instruments. Turns into a little, a flask, I guess, test tube, sort of beaker, one of the ones with the big widened thing on the bottom. I mean, you can see. And it's a pretty good beaker mode overall. I like that it's got nice detail here with the measurements. If you turn around back, since they're using like this new translucent plastic in Series 4, which just seems to be one that they've used as a new gang molded plastic. It's actually pretty translucent, and you can see his face in there a little bit. It's just obscured enough that it doesn't really bother me, but I don't know, something to note. And also because of the plastic, it's a little bit softer than a lot of the other BotBots plastic. So I find that these pieces don't really stay in place as well as I would want them to. They kind of wiggle around up here, but not the end of the world. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty good looking flask mode. To transform this guy, you take these two sections and you pull them up. They're on these sliders, and then you angle them out a little bit, and those will become the legs. You take these two side sections, rotate them down, and they actually themselves are on these little, I guess, slidery piston joints. So you kind of pull them out just enough that you can kind of rotate them around the crazy scientist hair here, and then bring them down, and they form like a kind of a little fat guy lab coat. And then the arms are just on the side here, and you rotate them out, and there is Dr. Flaskenstein in his robot mode. And I actually really love this guy. I love the little expression on his face with the mad scientist goggles and crazy electrocuted hair and his little tie there. And just the way that, the sides of the beaker come down to form this lab coat, I think is really cool. At first, when I got this guy, and I hadn't like looked too closely at the images, I thought that these were supposed to stay around like this and keep the arms rotated down. Which is, you could do that if you wanted to, if you liked that look better. There actually is a BotBot that uses this mold in Series 5, I believe. I don't have that one yet. So if you wanted to differentiate them from each other, you could do one like this and one the other way. Personally, I think I like it the way that I'm pretty sure they intended it, to have these down here like this, like a lab coat. But the other way doesn't look bad either. I'm wondering also if since the other one doesn't really use this translucent plastic, I'm wondering if that affects the sort of stability of these pieces anymore, and that makes them less wibbly in the other one. But like I said, I don't have that one yet, so I'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I really like this guy. Articulation-wise, you can wiggle the feet a little bit, and then the arms are on these ball joints here, so you can rotate them out. But yeah, I'd say for robot mode, I'm going to give him, not just the full 5 out of 5, but I think I am going to give him that bonus 6th point, because I just really like what's going on here with the robot mode. Like, sometimes it can be tricky to get him to stand if you don't have the feet spread properly, and he can kind of do that, but it's not really that big a deal. As you can see, it was still pretty easy to put him down like that. Alt mode, I think I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. I think overall it's pretty successful, and I love that it has like the little measurements on the side there. And I think that the translucent plastic was a really good use for this guy. I think the one thing that keeps me from giving it 5 is just like these little, bits that don't quite stay in place, which can make it kind of frustrating, but it's overall not the end of the world. And then transformation is normal, average, so 3 out of 5, which is going to give Dr. Flaskenstein a 13 out of 15, which makes him a 4-star BotBot. So yeah, definitely really like this guy. I think he's probably one of my favorites in the Science Alliance guys. I just love all the really, expressive character that they worked into his head sculpt here. And I love how the sides of the beaker become like this little lab coat for him. I think that's really cute. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the guy. There is Series 4 BotBots Dr. Flaskenstein. Like Frankenstein.